Tonight, I'm not here to teach. I'm not here to motivate. I'm here to reflect. These are statements that have shaped my thinking over time. Some of them challenged me. Some of them corrected me. Some of them cost me something to learn. I'm going to read them one by one, slowly, and then share whatever comes up for me in the moment. No edits, no script, just reflection. If something resonates with you, sit with it. If something challenges you, good. That's where the growth starts. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. So I hope sincerely that you have someone and that resonates for you somehow, some way. Because I don't remember totally for a lifetime, being able to have someone for that purpose. Probably did have, family, friends, et cetera, but for it to impact me the way it does now, it gives a lot more meaning and depth to that profound statement. So that's where I'm at on that statement. If your last piece of communication has zero value to the person, it may be the last communication they read or listen. Now, to me, that's primarily probably in the workplace or your occupation. And I gave that some thought, and I was struggling with that for a little while. And the reason why I was struggling with it is because how oftentimes do we just ramble on and talk to, friends, coworkers, whomever, but this drills down a little deeper than that. In fact, as I, grasp this more and more, I'm mindful even in general conversation. Not that we can't have general conversation and, chop it up, cut it up, mix it up. But the idea that knowing what I know now, I have the ability, the capacity, and the insight and hindsight to want to give more value and more substance to conversations, especially when there are people that you care about, love, and help want to grow and develop. So that was a tough one for me. But and I definitely get it in the workplace. And what will that do? That will separate you from the masses. That separates me from the masses. This statement, if your last piece of communication has zero value to the blank, it may be the last communication they read or listen to. I am mindful of that in my occupation, more so than just general conversation out and about. And the reason being is because that allows me to distinguish myself from all the other emails or voicemails or content, be it in person or the other mediums of communication. That allows me to really have a lot more impact. And I've used it in the past, and now it's top of mind when I'm actually leaving an email or phone message because I'm in the people business. And it does work. It's helped me, and it shows in my performance. It shows in my income. It shows in my referral and repeat clients. It shows in the amount of follow-up and customer-facing conversations that I come into on the regular. So I'm happy to have it as part of my persona, if you will. Fairness is giving someone what they need, not everyone getting the same thing. I struggled with that one. By the way, that was written for me by a teacher, one of my clients. She taught special ed. She still does teach special ed. And she was, of course, happy with me and my services. And she had shared that with me, that was one of her mantra, whatever. You help me out there. So she shared with me because I wanted to create how it all came about was I had shared with her about having a win-win scenario in business, which I'm a firm believer in that. And yes, she said, fairness is giving someone what they need, not everyone getting the same thing. I took that to heart, and it stayed with me, and I use it, and I told her I would, and here we are. The other thing that works for me, and this is at any age, but I'm not so certain that I didn't get it in my 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s, but I do now. Reinvention is eternal. Think about that. Now, I got that from an 80-plus-year-old. And that was her words to me, because she's still here. She's still living. She's full of life. She plays board games. She goes to a book club. She still drives. And she's always looking forward to another day. And she gave that to me. She said that. She said, Joe, reinvention is eternal, and that's how you, look forward to, future days to come. So I'm mindful of that because we get down in the dumps and we think that we've arrived. Think about that. We think that we've arrived, and we stay in routine patterns, sometimes for 10, 20, 30 years even. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but now the but sort of negates everything prior to, and I'm sorry about that. It's just refreshing to hear someone in their 80s. I believe she's 84 to be exact. And her name is Maim, and she's a wonderful person. And she told me that. And by the way, for any of you out there who is listening or watching this, like I said, Maim still drives. She still goes to her book club once a month. I believe it's with a church. She still does all her yard work. I shouldn't say all, of course not cutting grass, but she's always out doing her yard and drives, not as much as she used to. She still has all of her faculties, and that stayed with me. And what a bonus to pass on to someone else, to share with them that, to be mindful, to don't be afraid to reinvent yourself at any age. Remember, she said reinvention is eternal. and I love her for allowing me to be a part of her environment. Don't be scared to start over. You might like your new story better. How about that? Don't be scared or afraid to start over. You might like your new story better. So, why wouldn't you? You know, in the grand scheme of things, we're all not only on borrowed time, but everything is temporary for us. And so, don't have a fear of loss. Don't have a fear of failure. Don't have a fear to venture out and take on new challenges, hurdles, overcoming hurdles, and welcome and embrace different environments, different cultures. Hopefully, you like experimenting with, culinary food and listening to different dialects of people, and of course, all these things are in a nurturing environment. And, when you really think about it, not saying that we get stale from being around the same people, doing the same things, going the same directions, almost feeling like we're on autopilot. Just think about it. You probably don't even have to think on how to drive home from work or to drive to certain destinations, because these are patterns and things that we do day in and day out that don't require us to think. So I love that. Don't be scared to start over. You might like your new story better. And that applies to many things. It could be relationships. It could be career. It could be job, because career and job is different. It could be your diet. It could be health and fitness. It could be your social makeup. It's unlimited. So don't be afraid. Sorry for not looking at you here. Don't be afraid to start over. I was in school, and by the way, when I went back to school, I was a non-traditional student, meaning that I was out of school for a long time, and I wasn't, teenager or early 20s. I went back to school in my late 30s. I went to college in my late 30s. And I actually thought that I was going to be the oldest person in the class, especially orientation. It didn't turn out that way. So here's another example of not just starting over, but about reinvention. We can go back and what I just covered, these three, and there's something that works in all three of these. So I wanted to reinvent myself. I needed to reinvent myself. But anyway, I thought I was going to be the oldest in orientation and in class. So speaking of reinvention, I had a classmate that she was a grandmother. She was a grandmother, and I'm trying to think of her name. She was, a lot of the students were wondering, well, what is she doing in school? She was north of 60, 60 in her mid 60s. Why is she in class? Why is she in school? Well, turns out when she shared a little bit about herself, she let all of us know that she had always wanted to go back and finish college, that she was retired from her employer. And now that she had the free time, all of her grandchildren were doing their thing, because you know how teenagers are. And so that she was in school. And her class, I believe, was graphic design or something to do with the arts. And she had a passion for it. She felt like to come alive again. She was widowed. And it every time, even when she would speak, I still can see her face. When she would speak, she would come alive to be doing something new. And so don't ever be scared to start over. You might like your story better. Future you isn't coming to the rescue. Only present you can save future you. Huh. Wow. May I say it again? Future you isn't coming to the rescue. Only present you can save future you. A little bit of a tongue twister. So what are we saying? Kind of like the classmate in her 60s. And I apologize, her name is failing me right now, but maybe before this video is over, it'll come to me. But you've got some things you want to do. You've got some places you want to go. You want to build a better you. I think you have to do it in the present tense. Don't delay what you can do right away. Kind of like that, but I think that's what that whole statement is about to me. Why put off for tomorrow what you can do today, right? It was Benjamin Franklin who said, "People die at don't hold me to it. People die at 25. They just wait until they're." Well, back then, I believe he said 65. People die at 25. They just wait until they're 65 to be buried. What did he mean? He means that by the time you're 25, you kind of got settled in, doing what you want to do. And probably, who knows, way back then when Ben was around, but got into, all these different agricultural jobs and did your labor and didn't have the will or the desire or the resources to do something different. And so, you just did what you were doing when you got complete or felt whole at 25, did that for 35, 45, 55, and boom. Back then, people used to die a lot earlier, so I kind of get what he's saying. He also said that, he's Farmer's Almanac. There's a little plug-in for Farmer's Almanac, but he's done a lot of things. I believe was the kite and got a lot of patents. That's what I wanted to share with you. Got a lot of patents. But your future you isn't coming to the rescue. Only present you can save future you. Okay, we'll work on that one. But you think about that, and ponder. All of these, by the way, I've got 10 of them. So all of these that I share with you, I hope that you go back and reflect on these statements, and see how they apply, if they apply or resonate. I hope you go back and read them once, twice, maybe even 3 times for yourself. It's just like watching a movie. You see it once, you go back and watch it a second time, you see something that you didn't see the first time. And that's the same thing when it comes to reading, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't have time to do it right, you must have time to do it over. Well, where's the rush? How oftentimes in today's society you see people doing a rush job, only to wind up doing it over. So I take that to say that slow down when appropriate. Don't be so so eager to finish something. Matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. Why don't you relish in the process of doing just that, whatever it is that's needed to be done for that moment. In the people business, people want to hurry up and get off the phone. People want to hurry up and get through a line. People want to hurry up and, in traffic. I was on a road, on a 2-lane road the other day, and it was evening time, and there was a set of cars in front of me, so you could clearly see their taillights, and everybody was braking. So I hit my brake, nothing dramatic, I slowed and hit my brake, And here, because we're all aware of our surroundings in today's world, so I came to a slow and hit my brake, and the cars behind me, 2 cars behind me, I'm in my rearview mirror taking a peek, of course, while I'm almost virtually at a standstill. One car went this way, the other car went that way. They were they were so in a rush to go around me, knowing that there's a whole bunch of cars in front of me. And they, both of those 2 cars, one tried to go that way, one tried to go this way. Both of those cars got back in the formation because they couldn't go anywhere. But just like that, they wanted to go around me. And then the other car behind that car wanted to go around that car. And it seemed like nanoseconds. For what? It wasn't an emergency. They didn't have their flashers on. They weren't blowing their horn. There was no emergency they had no medical emergency, or something to that nature. They just were full of anxiety, perhaps road rage, whatever, and wanted to disregard a whole line of traffic in front of me. So slow down, pause, and get it done, right? You've got to get rid of the negative energy. Maybe you are the negative energy. You've got to get rid of the negative energy. Maybe you are the negative energy. And you have to fix it. You have to fix it. Well, you don't have to fix anything, but if you want better, if you want to minimize your health concerns, if you want to not be the person that nobody looks forward to coming in the room, because when you walk in a room, you suck the oxygen out with negativity. You're a Debbie Downer. You always have drama. You're the guy who sees the glass as half empty, not half full. If you're one of these, and by the way, negativity binds the receiver and releases the sender. So people, what do they want to do? They want to be negative and cast negativity onto people in their surroundings, and it's kind of fuel for people who are constantly pessimists. And I deal with that environment regularly, and I combat that environment. In fact, one time, here's what I did. Because I'm mindful of this environment, and I'm mindful of these I won't call them traits, but of these instances and this type of world out here, that because I pride myself on being an achiever in the work environment, and also trying to add value to people I come into contact with. I'm there now. I'm not the negative guy. But anyway, so here's what I did. Because you may not even be aware of how much negativity is around you. Because it gets to a point where it becomes routine. And we're used to it. And so we don't know any different, because for the most part, there's a lot of negativity and there's less positivity. Why does the weatherman say, 30% chance of 70% chance of rain instead of 30% sunshine, right? Why does a client, a customer, or a friend, will talk about all what's going on, in the news cycle, instead of highlighting or speaking about something that went positive, maybe in sports, maybe some sort of public service announcements. No, they come in talking about who just got shot, or what's going on around the world. People feed off negativity, is all I'm getting at. but don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. Because negativity does what? Negativity binds the receiver and releases the sender. And by the way, do you know that if you listen to negative news in the morning, it can ruin your day for the whole day? If you get up in the morning and first thing you do is turn on news and there's nothing but negativity, there it is. And you're wired for that day the wrong way. So try putting something positive on the brain as soon as you wake up. For the first 20 minutes of when you wake up, this thing called the reticular activating system, RETICULAR, the reticular activating system in the back of the brain, it's there, it's real, and it plays a role in your demeanor and how you project yourself. So I'm mindful of that, and we got to fix it. Whoever we are, wherever we are, and if you want to fix it, you will. I forgot to mention to you. I mentioned to you about something I did at work. I took a 3x5 index card. And this is when I was thinking about moving on from an employer. Maybe this will help someone out there. So I took a 3x5 index card. And on this index card, every time I had a negative experience or heard negativity, was involved with negativity, I made a note, a short note, a real brief note about that, what took place. Whatever it was. Anyway, so I had a 3x5 index card, and I recorded 21 negative statements and actions that transpired throughout my workday. Because that culture, that toxicity that I was in with that employer, I knew that, by the way, you could be the most proactive, positive person in your company. And if you're around a work culture that is counter to productivity, that is counter to minimizing drama, a bad work culture will defeat the best person with the best attitude every time, hands down. So keep that in. There's my positive affirmation for you, my positive comment. On the other side of loneliness is growth. On the other side of boredom is mastery. On the other side of sacrifice is success. You can't desire the outcome and not be willing to pay the price. Did you get that? On the other side of loneliness is growth. It's lonely because there's not many people, searching or yearning or willing to sacrifice to get there. On the other side of boredom is mastery. On the other side of sacrifice is success. Now, these successes aren't just, monetary, and they're not for your career or your job. Think about the successes that you can have in your family life. And if you don't have a family, in your community. And if not community, in your well-being. Right? On your job, in your career. Making a difference in your family and the people in your circle. Or internally, where? Health-wise. Eating right, exercise, all these things are part of the success when you sacrifice. You can't desire the outcome and not be willing to pay the price. And finally, where the determination is, the way can be found. Where the determination is, the way can be found. And that's been part of my reflection. And that's what I wanted to share and get out to people like yourself who, you know, I hope that you're listening wherever you are to this with clarity, without distraction. But even if you are listening and there's all types of distraction around you, I would implore you to find a quiet space, hit rewind, and listen again. I used to go out into my car and sit on my lunch break instead of being around, all my coworkers with the TV going on, with the news, and all the drama about the day's activities in the break room. It was too noisy. And besides that, when did I have time to get some separation? And why wouldn't you want to go out there and get some of that vitamin D? Right? Some sunshine. That's what I did. In fact, that made all the difference for me to get through the second half of the day when I had that break. And so I encourage you to listen more than once. So if one of these stayed with you, don't rush past it. Have some reflection. Write some stuff down. Take a photo. Look at it. I used to take things all the time. I'd take a photo, a quick photo, and when I had my moments, whether it was my bathroom break or I was waiting on someone else for whatever other reason, I'd take a look. And it kind of hit the reset, right? It's kind of like when you're going down a road and your two front tires, one has less air than the other, and it may pull to the left, right? Just a little bit, or you might get distracted. So when I would look at some of this stuff right here, it would, get me back in alignment. Get me back in alignment. And know this, growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens when you're honest enough to pause and brave enough to move forward. So, wherever you are, wherever you're watching or listening, I thank you for being here. And I hope that you take care of yourself. Thank you.